important thing to kind of keep in mind is there are a lot of situations where the food environment that you're in is not conducive to health. It's conducive to convenience and profit. Profit for the people who own the foodways. And there's a lot of research around this. And basically, I got involved in some conversations through social media where people are saying things like, basically, food environment and upbringing are probably the biggest factors in obesity. And the argument these individuals were having was that, or they were putting forward, was that, these things need to change. It takes systemic change. It takes community change to change your food environment. And putting any onus on the individual takes away from them pushing for community or systemic change. And that would be things like regulation on what can be in what area, how close grocery stores can be to each other, like what foods can be provided, that kind of thing. And I heard that, and all I could think of was, so you just want to disempower everyone and say, hey, it's not your fault. You don't have a choice at all. It's someone else's fault. It's the system's fault. And I heard that, and I was like, nah, no way. You can't tell people they don't have a choice. You can't tell people they don't have power over their own lives. Ever. There are things we cannot change on our own. There are systemic and societal things that we can't change. By yourself, you cannot change that. But it's a reality. It's the system in which you live. And my take is always, whenever possible, to give people power, to empower people, to help them see that there are always choices to make. And I was arguing. No, sorry, I wasn't arguing. We were discussing. I was discussing with a couple people about this. One guy was sort of a tech guy, and one is a very respected fitness professional. And although the data says that those are big influencing factors, my whole shtick is eat like an adult, which means making conscious choices. Eating like an adult means making conscious choices and taking ownership of the outcomes. You can be pretty damn healthy eating at McDonald's. I know that's probably going to get me shouted at, and someone's going to be like, seed oils. But really, if you're in the US or North America or Europe, it's a little harder in Australia. The menu is not as big and things are more expensive. But in general, fast food has fast and better options. You don't have to eat a Big Mac with a large fries and a liter of Coca-Cola. Like, if you're sitting here telling me, well, they're living in a food desert and that's all that's available, I call bullshit. That's all that's available. No one's making you eat 1,000 calories in each meal of just oil and sugar. No one's doing that. And so my take was that, yeah, your environment sets you on a certain path. It puts you in a certain playing field. But how you navigate that is up to you. You have to decide that you're going to take charge of your life in the best way you can. That's all we can do. All we can control is our actions within our environment. And if one person can convince another person to take personal responsibility, then you start building out this ripple effect that more and more people go, hey, you know what? We do have a choice. And then that's how you change the community. That's how you change the environment. When lots of people decide that they're not going to take that anymore, things change. But it starts by not telling people you don't have a choice because of your environment. I will not support this victim mentality. I'm not going to be like, yeah, you're a victim and you should just own that and just accept it and hope someone else makes change. No. You can always make better choices. You can always do a little bit better. It might not be perfect, but don't let perfect be the enemy of good enough. I was getting a little bit worked up. Sorry. I was getting a little worked up on this topic because I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. The evidence says this makes it hard. But the stories that inspire us and have always inspired humans are the stories of overcoming adversity. We love those stories. Nobody wants to hear a story or tell a story to their kids about someone who had a shitty life situation and said, yep, it's shitty, so I'm just going to accept that and make no changes and take no ownership of my life and sit here and accept how things are. That's a boring and depressing story. But someone making the best of a difficult situation is inspiring. And this goes way back to, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or whatever, when I did a podcast about how you are the best inspiration for the people around you. I'm assuming that I'm talking to parents and professionals right now. I'm a parent and a mildly professional. People look up to us. And if we want to see change, you have to be the change. And that means using the unlimited free information we have on the internet to educate ourselves if necessary, to go to a library, to see someone who is being successful in their domain and ask them how they're doing it. And then go, okay, well, what part of that can I action? I don't eat a lot of fast food because it's not very cheap. Got a family, we cook most of our food where we can. It's much more cost effective. But, if I'm on the road, if I'm traveling, yeah, I'm going to go to McDonald's. Am I going to get the largest of everything? No. Am I going to try and choose better options? Most of the time. It's one thing to have a treat. It's another thing to turn those treats into your diet. So actually saying, okay, there's 1,000 things on this menu. What is going to be the best for me? Well, I need to get some protein in. So, all right, chicken, beef, easy. No problem. All right, well, I want a bit of protein, and, if I can, let's get some veggies. All right, so you know what? A burger has lettuce and tomato on it. Cool. Or maybe I get a salad with chicken if I'm more veggie prone, more veggie interested. Great. Got some protein. I got some veg. A little bit of carbohydrate. All right, well, you know what? Chicken on bread with a bit of lettuce and tomato ain't the worst thing in the world. All right. I need a little bit more to get me through the day. I can't just live off 300 calories of chicken sandwich. I'll get a small fries. I'll get a side of whatever. But I'll get a small one. And I won't get a full sugar drink. I might get a Diet Coke. I might get a juice, which is a bit sugary, but still has some nutrients in it. You can always make a better choice. And you know what? It's cheaper to eat less than it is to eat more. So getting smaller options saves you money. And if you're not full, either we have to work on why you feel like you need to eat more, which is more complicated, or we need to fill up on real food. If you're just drinking calories through sugary drinks, you're never going to feel full. So there's lots and lots of ways to navigate a poor food environment. But the first step is saying, I need to do better. And I want to do that, either for myself or the people that look up to me. And that's all I really want to say today, is that no matter what the situation is, you still have choices to make. And how you navigate that environment is up to you. And not everybody has the same footing in life. But you choose what that means to you. You choose how you're going to live in that situation. And food environment is a hard thing to navigate. But you can navigate it. And you can change your micro food environment. The food environment in your home. The food environment in your life and in your community. By making better choices. They don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything perfect right away. But every time you make a better choice, it becomes easier and they stack up. And then it's easier to make the next good choice. And every time you make a new good choice, you're starting down a different path that helps you navigate whatever obstacles are in your life. It doesn't just apply to food, but the idea of food environment and personal choice has been a big topic lately. So if you have any thoughts, feelings, questions, concerns on this topic, let me know. I'm happy to discuss them. But never let someone take away your sovereignty, your autonomy, your ability to make your own choices. Don't let someone tell you you have to accept being a victim of circumstance. Because you don't. Because you always have a choice. And adults make conscious decisions whenever possible and take ownership of those outcomes. Now, announcements. Oh boy, is there anything big happening? Adding some new programs to the Strong for Life Vault, which is the online program and nutrition library found on the Strong for Life website, strongforlife.online. Go check it out if you haven't yet. I'll be adding in a strength program for runners this month. I just started on that today, so hopefully have that fleshed out in the next week or so. And I will be doing a 60-minute Eat Like an Adult talk for St. Luke's here in Hobart. So if you missed my TEDx talk on how to eat like an adult, I'm taking that 15-minute talk and expanding it into a 60-minute workshop where not only are we going over the fundamental aspects of eating like an adult, including the 6 primary habits, but also digging into a bit of nutrition education and how to navigate that world too. You know, what are macronutrients? What is and are calories? How do we read nutrition labels? Like, what does this information mean to us? Where do we get our nutrients from? And then how do we apply that? So if that's something you're interested in, that is a free event hosted by St. Luke's here in Hobart, Tasmania. If you want the link to book a spot, let me know. Otherwise, keep making good choices, and I'll see you next week.